essentially your 20s is your exploratory phase, right? So you have like your early childhood years, 0 to 10 is like, you're just trying to figure out how your body works and all that stuff. 10 to 20, you're in like your social phase. You're learning how social cueing works, you're learning how social groups work. Then your 20 to 30 is your grind phase, because your body is super capable. And like for most, people know this, but a man's prefrontal cortex, which is like how they control their impulsivity and risk-taking, doesn't even finish developing until 25. So your 20s is like, you got to push yourself as hard as you can, because your body can take it, your mind can take it, like just do it. And then in your 30s, you figure out what you're good at. And so in your 30s, you settle into this rhythm. But if you skip one of those steps, so if you're in your 20s and you didn't push and you just partied and hung out and, like worked a little bit and maybe you bartend a bit, like you're never going to figure out what you're good at. And you're just going to, like, you're going to get so stuck. And then I don't know if you can ever recover, because now your body's tired, your back starts hurting. You can't push and grind the way you could in your 20s. So in your 20s, I think, like, especially guys, I can't speak for the female experience, but guys should work as much as they can. And like, agreed. I am so against work-life balance for young men, and like, and I never did it. But in your 30s, you can do it, because then you're like, okay, here's what I got good at. Here's what I'm interested in. Here's how I place myself in the world. And then they talk about how your 40s to 50s is sort of your statesman era, where I think it was 40, 50 to 50 to 60s, where now you're stepping into your like leadership role. And then when you get to about 60, 70, or maybe 55, 65, 75, now you're in your mentorship role. And I've had so many like business owners in their 60s, but hey, let's just go for lunch. Tell me what you're going through, and maybe I can give you a nugget. And they just do it because they want to. They don't have to pay for it or whatever. And they just want to help. And you see that. And so I always think about that a lot. If you're in your 20s, you're like, oh, when does it end? It's like literally all men go through this. So just do it.
What stage are you in?
I think I'm in my like flow. I'm getting into a nice flow state now. I learned all sorts of life lessons from policing and the military, like literally beat myself into the ground by working so much. But now I have some really good skills. I love public speaking. I love being able to stand in front of a group and talk. I love leading my team. I love being innovative. I love pushing the pace and making new things. Some things I'm bad at is like administrative tasks I'm really bad at. I'm really bad at things that are like patterns. Like I can't do patterns very well. So I've had to realize that for my team, I need to hire someone who can do all the weekly tasks, because I'm going to just dread it. And so you really start to carve out like who you are, and then the goal, and I don't know if it's true because I haven't reached it yet, but eventually, if you spend enough energy working on who you are, eventually you get paid to be who you are. And you see that with people like that rise up as public speakers, yourselves, right? You'll get to a certain point where the world's like, oh man, these guys are such good podcasters that like you'll get great sponsorships and you'll get great guests, and like you'll just exist, and the world will reward you for becoming the man you've become.
Great.
I wanna come back to that idea of like your 20s to 30s being the grind phase, and I always like, and the balance of like work-life balance. And currently, I would say I'm in the phase of like, I definitely agree that 20s to 30s, you should work hard as you can, try and fail as much as you can, because that'll set the bar for your 30s. But I've always heard that, okay, if you don't take time to enjoy your 20s and your 30s, so there's that analogy of like, have you ever heard like in your 20s to 30s, you have all the energy but no money in the world. So you should try everything you possibly can and learn as much as possible. When you get into your 50s and 60s, you have all the money in the world, but you have no energy. So it's like, where the fuck is the balance then? Like, where is that balance of, okay, I want to work extremely hard, but I also want to go on a Sunday morning coffee, like, and not have to feel fucking insanely guilty about like not working on my spreadsheet in the morning. Like, where is that balance?
I think when you get to the point of knowing what your abilities are, the balance figures itself out. And like, I mean, okay, so here, vacation when you're 20, what does that look like? For most 20-year-olds, what does it mean? It means you go to the 3-star all-inclusive you can afford, and you get wasted on bottom shelf booze, and you hope you don't pass out in a bush and get bit by a snake or something, right? That's like the experience. Maybe you go to, if you're real lucky, you're going to Ibiza, but you're probably just going to Cancun, And
Less
so
than
like,
$1,000,
yeah, and you're like, I can't afford to leave the resort because I have no money. Even though the booze is cheap in Mexico, I only got a few extra dollars, right? And then the vacation when you're 35 is like, I'm gonna stay at this really nice hotel and I'm gonna really enjoy myself. I'm gonna do the things that I really enjoy, but you gotta like earn that, I think. So there's lots of micro moments to enjoy life. Like, and I think about this a lot. I don't know where I heard this, but I believe it completely. But your life is not those moments of pure enjoyment. Your life is what you do every day. So if you can't find a way to do all those things and grind and push, and maybe you commit to something and then 2 months in you're like, I don't like this. That's good. You learned you didn't like it, you're gonna leave it aside, right? So maybe those 2 months you don't really love it, but you're gonna leave that thing, whatever it is. But your life is like, you know, where do you wake up every day? Where do you go to bed every day? That actually is your life. So just build in micro moments in those days where you're like, oh shit, yeah. Like, you know, even though I had to do the spreadsheet for an hour, but like I got to go meet a friend for a coffee and it was great, right? And like for me, like I love being on the motorcycle in the summer. So like for me, I don't take a lot of vacations. I don't have time to go do trips, but you know, when I commute on the bike, it's like that moment where my cell phone's in the bag and I just get to enjoy it for 20 minutes, 30 minutes of the day. That adds up to, say I run a couple errands, that's 2 hours of my day. I just get to enjoy something.
Yeah. That comes to like the idea that I found was like stacking. So it's like stacking as much habits or like your joyful moments together. So like, for example, if you know you have to commute to work and you really like listening to podcasts, like instead of listening to music, just toss on a podcast. And that's something that I like try to balance. Or if I want to go for a walk and refresh, it's like, and I have a dog, take the dog with me. So it's like balancing like those moments of like, okay, I'm gonna grind, but like,
well, and like and micro luxuries, right?
Yeah.
Like, I have a friend. His thing is, he thinks his home is better when there's fresh cut flowers in the house. So it smells nice. It's kind of a reminder that there's some life in the world, you know. Like that's his thing. He's just like, yeah, I just have them delivered every week, and it's just like that extra little thing, right? So for me, it's like, if I have time to, like for me, in my new office, like this, I don't bring my dog here, but like I get to bring my dog to the office with me, and like she just hangs out in the chair in my office and sleeps all day. But it's just like, it makes my day better. Yeah. You know, and so like that's like a little thing I get to do that I built into my life, where it's like I just enjoy having my dog there, you know. And but you can do that with all sorts of things, you know. Like I like to get a haircut every week. Like I just like having a clean haircut, and I love going to the barber shop, and I love hanging with the boys. I go to Woody's barber shop. Go to Woody's barber shop. The boys are great. You just go there. They're all great. We hang out. I usually bring them some coffee. Like, it's something I like to do. It's 30 minutes out of my day, but every week I look forward to it. And like you can build those little things in there where it's like, so you're still grinding all the time, but you're like, oh, I'm gonna go do that thing that I really like for half an hour, an hour.
Yeah.
But I think the difference is like what you're talking about is, you know, the idea that your whole life is a luxury.
Yeah.
It's like, well, okay, that ends really quick.
Yeah.
You know, like, because imagine being 40 and not having any skills. You remember a 4-year-old with no skills?
Yeah.
Man, that life sucks.
That would suck. That scares. That's why we work as hard as we do right now.
Yeah.
One thing I've also realized recently, and very recent, is that a lot of things in life fall on a natural distribution of like a bell curve. And so throughout a day or throughout weeks, there's going to be moments when I feel like a 10 out of 10. Everything's going great. There's going to be moments when I feel like a 1 out of 10. This shit sucks. But like majority of the time, I'm sitting at a 5, 6, 7.
Yep.
Yeah. Right?
Well, and I think lately I've gotten better. And like for a long time, when I was working full shift work and running this, I didn't have the freedom of like curating a great schedule. It was like, forget that. It was just what has to get done and when, let's squeeze it in, right?
Yeah.
But now I'm getting to a spot where I'm like, okay, I actually noticed that like I operate my brain is best at 5 a.m. So I'm an early morning guy. I'm usually at 4:35 a.m.
Yeah.
My brain works best right when I get up till about 7 or 8 a.m. And by then I can get a whole bunch of things done that are like detail oriented. So I usually put my headphones on with like a good, like 40 hertz, yeah, like playlist or whatever, yeah. And that's my like deep focus time. But I know by 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, anything detail oriented I can't do anymore.
Yeah.
Right. And so trying to figure out those days too, to just play on my strengths in my day, and diet has to be part of it. If I ate like shit for a couple of days, like I'm busy. Sometimes I don't eat very well, right? You know, I notice my brain function goes down, and the next 2 days I'm groggy or not thinking super clearly. So that plays a part in it. And like,